ओके सो आज के लेक्चर में हम लोग देखने वाले क्लासेस. ओके, you know very well you are familiar with classes because in C++, you have studied about classes and all. जावा में भी वही रोल है जैसे जो आपने सी एंड सी प्लस में देखा. ओके, लेट्स सी द ओवरव्यू ऑफ क्लासेस. दिस इज योर चैप्टर क्लासेस. ओके, so overview of OOP. You know very well OOP means what? That is nothing but object oriented programming, right? So object oriented programming is a technique that combines data and instruction for processing the data. Object oriented programming, you know very well, object oriented programming language means what? Why we are using this object oriented programming, right? So here I want to say here again that it is a type of technique that combines data, okay, एंड इंस्ट्रक्शन. ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग एक टेक्निक है जो डेटा और इंस्ट्रक्शन को कंबाइन करती है. ओके, फॉर प्रोसेसिंग दैट डेटा इनटू एन ऑब्जेक्ट which can be used in a application program. मतलब ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग एक टेक्निक है जो एप्लीकेशन प्रोग्राम को यूज करने के लिए या प्ले करने के लिए या डेवलप करने के लिए यू कैन से एनीथिंग टू वी वांट टू कंबाइन data plus instruction. Means which type of instruction we have to follow like this. Okay, so object oriented programming is a technique that combine data and instruction for processing that data into an object which can be used in application program. Object oriented programming provide concept that help modeling complicated system. मतलब ये एक object oriented programming provides the concept that helps the modeling complicated system of real world into manageable software solution. It is a paradigm that provide many concepts such as inheritance, yeah, you know very well, binding, polymorphism, and so on. Java is an object-oriented programming language. You can easily create and use classes, okay, an object in Python. Let us have on some important concept of object oriented. Listen, you know very well inheritance. You have studied in C++, whatever language you have studied in your previous year. You deal with this object oriented programming, right? Then you know very well data binding, then polymorphism, right? So here object oriented programming having some concept. No need to take this part here, but is there, then let's check. Okay, so concept of object oriented programming, OOP is nothing but it is object oriented programming. Okay, so here concept is there some. Let's see one by one. Okay, I will give just intro of this concept because this you have already studied, because after you are now in S.Y.I.T last sems, right? So you have studied about this all, about is in object class and all. Okay, this is a part of your syllabus, your subject. That's why I'm taking, but I will give just intro here because you know very well about this only, right? So object means what? You know the meaning of object. Let's see here again. Object is anything in the real world that contain some unique characteristic. Okay, is there anything in the real world that contains some unique characteristic? It has state and behavior. It may be physical and logical. For example, it may be physical and logical. For example, you can say mouse. It's also object. Keyboard, right? Keyboard. Then chair, table, and so on. Pen. This all we can say this is a object, right? So this is about object. Object is nothing but object is the anything in the real world that contains some unique characteristic. It has state and behavior, right? Then you can say that it may be physical and logical, like physical and logical. And you, I hope कि आपको समझ में आया होगा. For example, जैसे कि mouse, keyboard, we have the example of this, right? Then after object oriented programming may now I explain you object oriented programming means what, why we are using this, what the type role of this programming language, right? So here some concepts are there like object. Now second concept is like class, right? If you are good in programmer, then you don't need to I don't need to explain you in detail, because if, you know, you have to understand about object, class, method and all, right? So class, the class is a collection of objects, right? Class is a collection of objects. It is a logical entity that has some specific attributes and method. मतलब class ये एक collection of ऑब्जेक्ट है जिसमें कि लॉजिक एंटिटी लाइक इसमें कुछ attributes and methods से इस have some specific attributes and methods. For example, if you have a student class, okay, then it should be contain the attributes and method, that is name, standard, age, etc. So means listen, with the help of class we can get the whole meaning of program, right? What type of program will be there, yeah, is there. So class is work main role in this. We have studied many, we have seen many example in my previous lecture. Right, we have giving the class name only because all program is based on the class. So example here, the class is a collection of object. It is a logical entity that has some specific attribute and method. For example, if you have a student class, okay, if you have the student class, okay, this is a student class, then it should contain attributes and method. Okay, so ये attributes and method contain करेंगे like that is name. जब आप क्लास में स्टूडेंट का डेटा इन्फॉर्म करना है आपको क्लास में, then you have to do name, their standard, right? Their class, you can say in which class is there, S.Y.I.T, whatever. Then age and so on, right? So this is about your class. Then method here, method. This is another concept, right? So in method, you can say that, just for me, okay, which I bold here, that is the concept of your OOP, okay? So object, class, method, okay? So here method. The method is a defined as a group of statement. Method ये group की statement define करने के लिए हम लोग use करते हैं, okay? And close together to the achieve specific task. It is associated with an object method. It's not unique to class. Instead, any object type can have their own method. Method is defined as a group of class. Okay. Method Method is a block of code which only runs when it is called. You can pass data known as a parameter into method. Methods are used to perform certain action and they are also known as a function. Okay, this is about method. Then inheritance. Okay, this is a all concept. Okay, inheritance. Let's see this. Okay, inheritance can be defined as a characteristic transforming techniques. Okay, it is defined as the techniques of characteristic transforming techniques characteristic. Future of one class can be shared with another class through inheritance. मतलब one class का one the futures of one class can be shared with another class through inheritance. It means one object acquire the property and behavior of parent object. Okay. So inheritance here. Okay, so inheritance can be defined as a characteristic of transforming technique. Future of a class can be shared with another class through inheritance. It means one object acquires the property and behavior of parent object with inheritance. You can define a new class with little or no changes to the existing class. The new class is known as a derived class or child class, and from which inherit the properties called base class और parents class. It provides a reusability of code. Means आप एक code में दो classes use कर सकते हो और because of your you can say that is the inheritance here. So inheritance in Java is a mechanism in which one object acquires all the properties and behavior of parent object. It is an important part of object-oriented programming system. The idea behind inheritance in Java is that you can create new classes that are built upon existing classes. When you inherit from an existing class, you can reuse method and field of parent class. Okay, you can add new method and fields in your current class also. Inheritance require the relationship which is also known as a parent and child relationship. So inheritance, with the help of inheritance, we can use the means we can in one program we can add the two classes, okay, and we can run the our program with the help of parent class. Okay, we will see in example also this point. Just consider, just focus on the concept of the classes here. Okay, so the term of inheritance, you can say class means, a class is a group of objects which have common properties. It is a template or blueprint from which objects are created. Then subclass and child class. Subclass is a class which inherits the other class. It is also called as derived class and extend class or child class. Superclass or parent class. Superclass is the class from where subclass inherit the future. It also called base class or parent class. So inherits the base class, and with the help of parent class we will try to run the program. Okay, so here after inherit, so the class new known as the derived class or child class, and from which inherits the property is called base class or parent class. It provides reusability of the code. So after the inheritance, now next point is poly- polymorphism. Polymorphism. Okay, let's see. So here polymorphism. Polymorphism is the ability to present the same inheritance for different underlying forms. Poly means, so we means cut the two words poly and morphism. Okay, poly means many. Okay, poly means many, and morph means from. Okay, shape. Poly means many, and many shapes. Polymorphisms meaning many shapes. Poly means many, and morph means from, shape. Polymorphic function or method can be applied to arguments of different types, and they can behave differently depending on the type of argument to which they are applied. Okay, so here, okay, so polymorphism means many forms. Okay, we have cleared this meaning, and it occurs when we have many classes that are related to each other by inheritance. Like we specify in previous in inheritance also. Inheritance letters, inheritance attributes, and method from another class. Polymorphism uses those methods to perform different tasks. Okay, so here that encapsulation. This all concept you have seen, right? You know very well about this all concept. Encapsulation. So in encapsulation is used to restrict access to method and variable. Here code and data are wrapped together within a single unit from being modified by accident. Okay, so encapsulation here. So encapsulation in Java is a mechanism of wrapping, means bind karna, okay, of data. Encapsulation you can say is like a capsule. Okay, I will tell you why I'm telling like this capsule. So here encapsulation is a Java is a mechanism of wrapping data. Means data means variables, you can say, and code acting on the data, that is method, together. Okay, encapsulation is a mechanism of wrapping variables and method together as a single unit. In encapsulation, the variables of the class will be hidden from other classes, okay, and can be accessed only through the method of their current classes. So encapsulation like means जो भी class and data है वो hidden होती है, means capsule में भी जो medicine होती है, you know very well वो hidden होती है, right? और when we will मीन्स हम लोगों को उसके अंदर की मेडिसिन पता नहीं चलती. यू नो, यू हैव सीन द कैप्सूल, encapsulation is meaning also like this only. Here I said that in encapsulation the variable of class will be hidden from other classes and can be accessed only through method of their current classes. Okay, so that is a encapsulation. Okay, so the achieve encapsulation in Java declare the variable of class as private, public, private, provide public setter and getter method to modify and view variables value. Okay, so here this is the concept of encapsulations. Then next see, next one is a data abstraction. Okay, data abstraction. Abstraction. Let's see the data abstraction. So hiding the implement details is called data abstraction. Hiding the implementations detail is called the data abstraction. It almost similar concept to encapsulation, as data abstraction is achieved through encapsulation only. It show functionalities while hiding the internal details. Abstracting something means to give name to things so that the name of capture the core of what function or whole program does. So data abstraction is nothing but is like encapsulation only. So here hiding the implementation detail called as a data abstraction. So this is about your concept OPP, that is object class method inheritance polymorphism encapsulation and data abstraction. Now see the classes. In classes, okay, in class refer group of object. Okay, class refer the, I'm like writing like this. Okay, refer as group of object, group of object. Okay, so there can be one or more than one objects with represent the class. In Java, a class is declared by use of class keyword. So class ये declare होती है class keyword से, right? The class body is enclosed between curly brace. Okay, so यहाँ पे जो class body है वो enclosed होती है between this, sorry, this where it is, between this curly brace, right? So class body is enclosed between this curly brace. The data or variable defined within a class are called instance variables. So the class inheritance, okay, you can write like between this. Okay, the class is a refer as a group of object. There can be one or more, okay, which represent class. Means one or more object which represent class. In Java, a class is declared by use of class keyword. Class keyword से class ही declare होती है. Okay, so the class body is enclosed between curly brace like this. The data or variable defined within a class are called instance variable. मतलब जो class के अंदर within a class which is defined, it's called the instance variable. We have seen instance variable, local variable in my previous lecture only, right? So the code is contained within a method. Collectively, the methods and variable defined with the within a class are called member of the class. So here in Java class is declared, I said like this. Here now open and close body, it means curly brace. The data or variables, okay, defined within a class are called instance variable. The code is contained within method. Collectively, the method and variable defined within a class are called method of class. So syntax of this like this syntax. Okay. So here access modifier, access modifier. Okay. Then class. This is the syntax. Class name. Class name. Okay. Then data member. Okay. Okay, data member. You can write like this. Data member. Then method. So here both we have to keep in capital. Okay. Then method. So curly brace. So the data member or data or variable defined within a class. Okay. So this is the syntax of your class. So here data member or data or variable defined within a class are called instance variable. Okay, these are defined within a class. That's why we are calling. So this is a what instance variable. The code is contained within a method. Collectively, the method and variable defined within a class are called members. Okay, so listen here. The data members or data variables defined within a class are called instance variable. The code is contained within a method. Collectively, the method and variable defined within a class are called members of the class. There are no restriction on the sequence of data members and methods to be written in the class. A class can contain any following variable types like local variable, instance variable, and class variable. So local variable defined inside method, constructor or block are called local variable. The variable will be declared and initialized within the method, and the variable will be destroyed when the method has completed. So here in local variable are defined inside the method. I already explained in my previous lecture also, right? So constructor or blocks are called local variable. Constructor or blocks are called the local variable. The variable will be declared and initialized within the method, and variable will be destroyed when the method has completed. Then instance variable. Instance variable are variables within a class. Just 1 minute. Instance variable are variables within a class but outside any method. These variables are initialized when the class is in here. Instance. Instance variable can be accessed from inside any method, constructor, or block of that particular class. Class variable are variables declared within a class outside any method with the static keywords. Okay. So in next lecture we will see the types of class. Okay. So in this section we will going to see the types of class, right? So this topic is about types of class. Okay, so in these types of class, having first public class. So types of class में हम लोग we are going to see means we are watching here, we are studying here types of classes. Okay, so first one is a public class. If top level of class, okay, within a package is declared as a public, then it is accessible both inside and outside of package. By default, classes are public in the same package and private. If a class is accessed from another package, we can make use of public class to implement such functionality in Java using modifier public. Okay, so here the syntax of public class, syntax of this public class name, okay, then open and close. So example like this, public class, suppose class name stud, okay, public class, we give name the stud, then open and curly. In this we can write, here we can write the body of class. Okay, I already told the body of class stud की क्या हो सकती है, right? The name, gender, class, standard, right? So this is the, we can write here. So we have already seen many examples in my previous lecture about class, and also here just I'm giving the syntax and the logic of the code and whatever. So here body of the class you have to mention here through the example of student class, and you have to run it. So this is about your public class. Okay, so public class is a Java keyword which declare a member or access in as a public. Public members are visible to all other classes. This means that any other class can access public field or method. Further, other classes can modify public, okay, field unless the field is declared as final. So this is about public class. Then let's move on private. Another type is private class. Okay, private class. So here, this is the most restrictive of all accessibility modifiers. These members are accessible only within the same class. These are not accessible from any other class within the class package also. We can make use of private class to implement such functionality in Java using modifier private. So here the syntax of this private class, private class, then again class name, class name, okay, and you can, in this you can write the body of the code, right? Examples you can say, instead of public here you have to write the private. Okay, okay, so unlike a class as an inner class and can be private, and once you declare an inner class private, it cannot be accessed from an object so outside the class. Following is the, this is okay, this is about the private. In the given example, make the inner class private and access the class through the method. Okay, so this is about the private, then abstract. Okay, abstract class. If we want to make a classes those only represent base class and don't want anymore to create object of this class type, then this can be achieved using abstract class. Abstract class means that abstract class means that no object, okay, no object of this class can be inherent but can make the derivation of this. This class can contain abstract as well as non-abstract members, but it is compulsory to have at least one abstract method in an abstract class. The implementation of the abstract method written in the abstract class is done in derived class method. Specify in the interface or implicit abstract. We can make use abstract class to implement such functionality in Java using modify abstract. Okay, so abstract class is a class that is the declare abstract. Okay, it may or may not include abstract method. Abstract class cannot be instant, but they can be a subclass. When abstract class is subclass, the subclass usually provide implementation for all the abstract method. It's the parents class. So abstract class में दो classes होती है. First, okay. So subclass and class. Okay. So let's see the syntax first here. Then we go to the example. Okay. So syntax of this abstract class syntax, like abstract class, abstract, sorry, abstract class to public abstract void info, public abstract void info, that is information. Then close it. So let's go see this example. Okay, let's see the one example of abstract class here. So here let's type the example of abstract class. Okay, so abstract class, that is a syntax, that is a this is the short example of abstract class which we have seen here. So the syntax is like this, that is a abstract class and class name. Okay, abstract class and class name. Okay, abstract class and class name, and this is the okay. So this is the below one is the example. Let's see the here. Okay, so abstract. Okay, abstract class A. Just a minute. Abstract class A. Then abstract class B extend, because we have seen the definition. This is a types of subclass. Extends B extends A. Then void. Okay. Right. Print for printing. Okay. Close. Give the class name. Okay, class for which we name this up, I'm giving here PR33 example. Okay. Public static void main. Let's close this class. Then we call calling give the base object, that is a B equal to new B method. B dot show. Okay, let's run it. First save this program. Okay. Okay, let's save this program. Okay, so class abstract class A abstract void show, then class B extend A void show, then system DB how to print this hello here. So here this is a parent class, you can say. So with the help of parent class we have to run this program. So let's move on our program for output. You can write here this one. Okay, so sorry, हमने parent class name दिया Java 33. Okay. Okay, now it's able to run. So hello. Okay, so this is our output of this abstract class. Okay, so let's move on. Scope of rules. Okay, sorry. Here scope of rules. Scope of here.
Okay, we don't have that much time to continue this lecture. Having any query, then tell me. Yes, Mulaji, sorry, Raj, Sangita, Sonia, some other lecture.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can leave now. The remaining lecture we will continue tomorrow. Okay. Okay, you can.